So it's October and Halloween's coming, and there's the Bitcoin is ripping into the seller's window. So if I was to accumulate on limit tickets here, it would have taken me about a month to get filled, but it would have looked like this. And the Bitcoin is about 2 more zeros added to the script. So if you're using the drops on forex, you just got to add 2 zeros to the code and then compile it. But you always want to test it out because you could be, if you can trade gold, I think, with the forex scripts, but and the Dow Jones, I think you can trade with those, but you'd have to add a 0. Typically, you're going to add maybe even 3 zeros, I think. I have some NASDAQ stuff where, and the yen's kind of wreaks havoc on some indicators if it's because of the way the yen is priced at a 109 and change. Okay, it has too many numbers. But if I would have bought this on just the trailing buy limit theory of entry, if I trail this buy limit and actually increase the size, I'm sorry. Yeah, actually, this would be the buy limit entry. I talked about running a trailing sell stop there to get involved in a short, but just blockhead trading stuff. I mean, it's all about the ticket type. So if you're going to show somebody how to get into the market, well, what's the defensive way to get into the market so I just get picked up in the stream? I'm going to put a sell stop here, and I'm going to say, I don't know, when it starts to tank, I'll just get automatically filled. And, you know, if I just use that really, if I didn't trade with a stop, which would be a disaster, right? Because you might get trapped and the market goes against you for the whole account's blown up. So if you put a sell stop here, well, all of a sudden I get filled. Okay, great. Now what, right? Now, because this is a weekly chart, we don't really know if you trailed your stop really tight or you had your stop up here, like, they'll never touch my stop here. Well, not, less likely, right? It's higher. And you get filled on the sell side of that. When do you start cashing out? But if we're the other guy, I guess the guy is going to buy your position off you, decide to, or we have a buy limit in there. So this is kind of a hugely liquid market. And buy limit, cancel replace, and cancel replace, and maybe increase the size. So this low here, and then as you come up here, you get filled on your first buy limit, right? Where's the stop for that? If you were forced to trade one ticket at a time, you'd have to ask yourself for every position, where's the stop for that? But if you imagine you enter in a range with many tickets, so the baby tickets are on top, so you're very conservatively getting in. Buy limit here. And if you didn't cancel these buy limits, and of course, I say when you're coming up here, you want to cancel sell stops as you're coming up. But when you're building when you want to go long, you're going to have big fat orders down here. So here's where everybody's kind of freaking out. Well, is Bitcoin going to fall down deeper in here? And of course, you had this kind of the, people call it kill zone, but I'd say it's super duper buy zone down here, And of course, the floor, and this is the weekly Bitcoin. Now you have this Williams fractal here, I'm sure, or this is just one of those really big turnarounds. And if you carry it forward, this would be the floor you took out, and you've overcome it, and you're still above it. And I'd be getting out of this trade if I'd built a position based on buy limit here, buy limit there. Now that one was a nice fill. And of course, this is the better fill because it's the deeper, longer, older fill, and there's going to be more drama there, and it's going to be one and done. Like now, if you're really bullish Bitcoin, you've got buy limits in there. You've got even bigger buy limits here in this little slice, and you're hoping to God that something happens. Elon Musk, dumps Bitcoin, whatever the news, or whatever, and it spikes down there, and you're not there to see it. It's the technique of entry. So if you're going to buy this on limits here, you'd be above water right now. If you bought everything down here, and you could have rode that till we hit the floor, you could have done a giant swing trade there where you're buying like crazy, and then boy, when it comes back to here, you just get out. Maybe you make a little bit of pips to here or something, or maybe you do hold it because maybe this is the follow through, and it rejects that floor. Of course, the people are willing to sell into that, but this recent rally has done nothing but carve out these highs. So it filled this vacuum, and I would say game over for now. I'd totally go flat. And, on the buy side, I'm talking about here, if I sell everything I own in Bitcoin right here, when I built into these pieces, I would just dump it. 2 weeks up like that, that's just like, wow, that's a nice trade. Then just come back in with buy limits all over again and just do the same thing, and just, the deeper it goes, the more you buy. It's automatic. This is all planned out stuff, so plan it out like this, and there's really no kind of conflict, And that's one thing that they wanted you to learn in this trading psychology class was congruency. You got to be congruent. In other words, you can't be a total, well, I guess you could, right? If you're that kind of trader, totally out of your mind, and still manage something like, normal. So it's hard to live two different worlds. But so the trading, in the Bitcoin here, we only got this much data. If you go to the monthly, so it's kind of like new. I guess you should almost use the logarithmic chart here, where you kind of compress this drama that's been happening lately. Because if you go to the monthly, it's certainly smoothed out. And here it's like, oh my God, like, is this like getting, we taking out these monthly highs, really going to keep going up? Definitely the selling window for, I'd say, obvious is here. This is going to be quite a challenge. Anytime we dip into that window, I expect to see people, just, it's going to be hard to clear. I can't zoom out because MetaTrader won't let me. But if you put in, I could go to 1 million. Actually, I could fix the scale in 1 million. You can see how ridiculous some of these targets people have for this. It's not to say you can't go there, because people are out of their minds. You can see how people are out of their minds already. So if I set this to the dream price of, let's make it, is this, it's not going to compute. I think I just blew it up. Yeah, didn't like that. So it's just too big a number. 10. It won't do it. So anyways, you can imagine if you scrunch this thing down. Shit. Oh wait, that was a low price. No. So anyways, it's going to take quite a bit, right, to get there. But some people are investing in it, I don't care. And gold's kind of weird, because gold's in a kind of it's starting to triangulate on the monthly. So enough time's gone by with these markets that, they really look very, there's a lot of history now. But I'm only interested in being in the market for like 3 days max. So I wouldn't really qualify for some of these long range. Although it looks very, it's an uptrend and stuff like that. Anytime you start going up like this, though, we always have that left behind zone where people get a little bit like, oh, Jesus, everybody's bullish, everybody bought, and next thing you know, everybody's selling. So this is like $100 between these. So that's a pretty good run here from 2 years of run. People talk about this. Oh, gold's been up so the last 2. Yeah, you know what? This is a pretty fucking amazing run for gold. Let's not forget that. I mean, these bullshit ads you hear. Look at gold's made. Dude, I'm sure people sold like a bitch up in here. You can see it. This guy's a winner by $100. In other words, if his first sell limit starts there, he's just like, yeah, one day it went fucking hit my sell limits. I couldn't believe it, Sold one here, and then I doubled up, right? I tripled up. So if you martingaled in on these $100 handles, not that the market's going to turn right around, but look at that climax. Pretty good, Took out this. Everybody's but the people that bought here are just shit. They're underwater by like $300. So I think the people that make money are the people that can trade. You're just going to buy new lows and dump it. Buy new lows, dump. Why? Oh, sure. You bought gold here. Did you get out here? Or you're still holding here going, yeah, it's going to keep going up. And, we're going to have we're going to get beers later. I guess. I don't know. I always wonder, man, if you bought gold here, you're like, when it got back to here, you're like, whew. And that's another reason why there's a lot of sellers here, because the people that bought here, the hedge funds are like, yeah, we finally fucking made $200 on gold. Check it out. Or their algorithm that says, if you're up X, get out. I'm sure there's math, or what do you call it? I'm sure there's robots that assess, which I guess I should, run one of those just for kicks, because if I just get into the trade like a pig and it's just going to start putting in stops, right? But you need more than one robot, because you don't want to have all the stops be at the same level. You don't want to use the same money management throughout. So you can take advantage of scalping when scalping's every day there's a scalp, but not every week is there not every year is there a 2-month run, a 2-year run here on gold. 2 years of just screaming up, and so this would be the consolidation. Well, how much are you going to try to make? Like, so I would say, real gold investors just got buy limits pending down here, just going, yeah, I'll buy a little bit of the market. So if you dollar cost average in and you throw limits in there, you'll never miss one of these. Look at this wackadoodle spike here. This is a premium entry just based on good old fashioned come back to the doji, this box here. And the market wicks into it, and you got a limit there, and holy fuck, you're up $200 in like 2 months. That's screaming. And then this insane crush, which is fueled by this window here, and and of course the true believers start buying gold here, and right now they're just, geez, and of course they'll be selling up here. The sellers will come back in, because anybody that you're going to run out of buyers first up there. And of course you got the other people that are there's all sorts of people trading. There is not this one guy. There is not this big boy out there against you. It's sad, but there isn't, right? So you can trade without a mask is what I'm trying to say. Of course, the like I said, the pain, the torture is that you're in a position for fucking, like, what if you knew gold? What if you had a feeling like, oh man, gold's going to keep crushing up here? I mean, look at the fucking vacuum. So you took all this shit out, and people are like, holy God, man, we went all the way into the floor here. So this is the impetus for all the sellers here on the weekly, right? This window, 100 pip window, but it's just like, oh wow, and backs off. If you're holding gold for 4 months here saying, yeah, this looks like a doji, and this is a trend, and we're gonna keep taking out this high, this high, this high. We're just gonna clean house. And these are old prices. And if you started selling here, you're right at break even right now, but you were up like $50 earlier. Actually, you were just up this last month. So even the wick, it's hard to believe this is the monthly chart of gold, but it is. I mean, if you're going to trade by placing your orders deep in the market, it wouldn't matter whether this wicked out. I mean, this is pretty fast and nasty. I didn't watch that happen. People that stare at gold would probably say, yeah, that was fucking nuts. And on the weekly chart, it's going to show up. Right? This is nuts, right? And it looks like, this old low here really was the feeding zone. I mean, anything below there, and of course, if you do have pending sitting in this, $120 window, Jesus Christ, the thing slams down there, and that's a chunk of money. So this is the beginning of the month here. Huge wick there. I'm sorry, beginning of the year. Beginning of the year there, and then, man, look at this action here. So all the selling, all the people that just gridded that out with settlements up there, or the people that sold because it was up. Every time it closed up, they sold. This is a real bear would do that. They'd be like, I'm selling here, I'm selling there, I'm selling there. Okay, well, all three of those are winners if you waited for them to come back and, I suppose, stop hunt people that use sell stops to protect their long positions. Yeah, it's a stop hunt. Okay, but not everything's a fucking stop hunt. That's what cracks me up. It's like, and all the level 2, 3 people, well, there was tickets. Yeah, I'm sure, dude, there was. This is the weekly chart. So any week, like next week, if gold comes down here, I would almost guarantee you it's really unsustainable. It's going to come back here just like when you weaponize and you go behind the scenes to make the FBI come after, town meetings. You got a problem, right? So this shit does not last. Like here, when you take out all, is this the fuel? Well, I suppose, all that's, it's just making more selling. To me, it's the fuel to make this selling just be so fucking insanely sold. And if you've got an indicator that's based on closing prices, holy shit, it's oversold. I mean, people are getting in for all sorts of fucking reasons. You just can't make this argument that, well, like the market's racist, oh, it's always out to get you. No, I mean, if you have limits in there, you're like, hope they come out to get them. I suppose the goobers, right? Like you got in here, you put a buy stop here, you went long, so you trailed your stop. You put a percentage on it, so you really didn't get stopped out of these. But then, lo and behold, one day you got stopped out, and So all these honestly, back testing at some point, you should be able to just visually back test the most clunky entry system in the fucking world, which is just put a fucking buy stop. Even if you don't think the market's going, just fucking put a buy stop in, and if the market's going up, you get filled long, and you place on a fucking 2% risk on your stop, and whatever money's in the account. I don't know what that would be, but that's the whole problem with using 2% of your account. What the fuck? You put on one fucking trade out with 2% of your account? Like, how big is this account? Hopefully it's not $1 million. Like, yeah, this is go back tested this. You back tested this? It's a fucking matter, dude. First of all, the future is unknown. I mean, yeah, Bitcoin could go to $1 million. Well, what are other assets doing? I mean, are stocks totally annihilated? Is crude oil zooming up? I mean, none of this shit's really connected. The dollar has, crushed it's, dollar against whatever. But yeah, I would say at the end of the year here, and they don't want to, these people don't want to blow it up, so everybody's in this Mexican standoff. But it's a very fast market, and if you're trying to make money trading, it's completely different than if you're an investor. So it's always tough because some people want to be in the market for 10 seconds, some people want to be in there for 10 days, some people want to be in there for 2 hours. And if you know how to make money in 2 hours, which I thought, well, I saw a guy doing that once in a video, and he's like, well, I got in here. I'm like, holy shit, I'm tired. This guy must have had one size ticket he kept pulling the trigger on. Maybe he's trading 3 tickets, He's manually trading like a 15-minute chart. It's overbought, sell, buy. I don't think I could change my mind that many times, because the idea of approaching the market with a bias, he didn't have that problem. Like, he was just like, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Now, this other classic approach, well, first you have to have a bias, right? Because you're just not going to want to buy and sell. It's too much work, or it's too confusing. It really depends who you are. So I guess people want to know where they're going. Are we going to go north or south? Because I'm not going to get in the car unless you tell me. But if I told you, well, we're just going to go back and forth, whichever way the wind blows, like, we're not even going to have a choice on this. You'd say, I'm not going to fucking drive with you. So people want the market to be like a normal drive in the car. It's just not. It's a fucking train wreck. It's the most insane, chaotic price is going to come at you. I mean, can you explain the gold chart here? I mean, what are you going to tell me? Oh, well, see, Elon Musk here came over and, the angry Brit guy was saying, oh, this is where Heckle and Jekyll got together. Well, when the markets, like, so this wedge here in gold is just like this wedge here, but this is a bigger one. So it would cost you more money to trade the same size per ticket on this pattern than it would this pattern, where you're like, oh, I like that pattern where it drifts down and it kind of explodes. This Stacy Burke guy, I like explosive moves. Who doesn't? But in your direction, right? We want to make our money and get the fuck out. I still don't know. He must be a retired trader, because he doesn't talk about anything about trading. So in those kind of situations here, I'll bet people are, I don't even know what this might have been. Oh gosh, is this, I'm not really good where this is on the, for all I know, that's the fucking election. I don't even know what's going on there. But when gold got above this, people are like, holy shit, I'm cashing out. And we can't look back here, but to the left there, it's like really record high. And then look how this is all happening in 2 weeks. Bam. So grabs this price. Inventory is loaded for whatever you want to call this, institutional levels. These are just, to me, it's literally cause and effect. We see, like, when we get up here, we smash up $200. Well, almost smash back $200, but no, not quite. I mean, there's all the $50 smashes back and forth, and I'm sure if you had the perfect fucking system, it took a sell right here. See, this is, or you waited for that 1 week it was up and you sold. I don't see how you make a living doing that. Like, you got to take some of these trash trades. You cannot. The world just doesn't present these kind of. This is the problem with backtesting, is the Holy Grail doesn't exist. So this kind of like, well, it's pretty good here, but then it got blown up there, and you fucking nuts. Your robot has to be so robust, like the one I'm building here, I think, where, I'm just doing it manually, but I suppose you could automate it. But, okay, the market's on fire. Put the fire bots out. Put these fucking deep tickets out there. Of course, now that's going to be on multiple markets, because you're not going to babysit that. And it's got to have money management robots coming in underneath it. But if you're just doing... I'm not a gold trader, so I'm sure on the 4-hour chart there's a lot less riskier trades than here, because this weekly chart, plus you're waiting forever. on these fills. I mean, did you really you really gonna tell me you had buy limits pending here? Well, previous top become a bottom, and you did. If you had too tight a stop on that ticket, they came down, they swooped down, they hit you, and it's gone. You're out of that trade. You fucked up. Oh, you could look back and go, oh shit. Even if you got in this trade, where would you get the fuck out? Would you really ride it till here? I wouldn't. As soon as it got above here in the seller's window, where it gets all choppy because there's, this is a big deal here, and that's why you see this effect. Once you get above here, like, oh yeah, this is fucking weeks of bullshit before we finally close cheap enough, oversold enough, and then we get the catapulting psycho move where it does not have every week is bullish. Crushing in here, and the goober with the buy stop's fucking a genius, right? Puts a buy stop here, a sell stop. Well, I was long on that trade though. Yeah, and then let me guess, you trailed your stop and you made X. You didn't even fucking get, so, right? There's more money. He left money on the table because he's trying to run defense all the time. It would have been a great strategy here. Buy stops, trailing, increase the ticket size. But then, of course, if you put your stop in here, they wick you out of that? Or, right? And, of course, cancel replace on these tickets on the buy stop entry side. That's the maintenance you got to do on that entry technique to make money. Because the other guy has sell limits all pending here on these weeklies. And especially right in here, all the way to here, the real bears got sell limits up here. But only you get filled here heavy, and you just made $100, right? This ticket is up like $20. And I'm sure there's some guy out there that built the algo, and he's like, you gotta see this algo I built. Got in here. What's it doing lately? Well, just stop down money managers. So I want to run my robot right now. Let's see. So it buys on limits, it's testing it. Well, it's conditional because here, on the daily, it would be throwing out tickets. You wouldn't even look at these things. Like a robot's something that you would run so you don't have to look at the market yourself. And maybe you open up the platform every month on this account to say, well, how's it doing? I'm sure that trading, mindfully trading girl, oh yeah, look at the thing and let's see how it's doing here. I'm up 150 pips. Let's see what happens. If you're that kind of person, that might be just the perfect robot, right? The mindful robot. I don't know how people do that. Dude, drop 50 pips. You really think that's going to last? Well, no, about 5 weeks. We could be up another 100 pips in 5. You locked up that much margin. You could, what system were you running that was so amazing that you think this trade's going to make 250 pips? This one you're in. I mean, come on. And that's the heartbreakers that you gotta have like you just have to trade so much that it just does. You don't even think about it. Like the size shouldn't bother you. It'd be like, oh, yeah, 3 days for this swing trade and 3 minutes for this news trade, or you specialize in a certain time frame, the 15-minute chart, you know it, you hit the button, boom, bam, bing, you see Asian session, it's going to be this, looks like we're going up, oh, here comes London Open, looks like there's a short squeeze, let's go long, or you're already long. You're already in because, so lately what I do is I have very few market orders because every time I buy, they make the market go down. I don't know if they're watching, because I heard about, like, they're doing keyword searches and shit now on the Googles. And I'm thinking somebody's fucking trading against me out there. So I'm like, yeah, and I kind of just buy because I'm like, an hour's gone by. Like, I've been buying the euro today thinking, is this market going to fucking move? So I thought, maybe if I buy a little bit, they'll come after my limits that I put in. So I buy at the market a little bit, but And then I always want to move my targets because I think, yeah, this is a huge accumulation. And of course, if you move your targets, because you see, well, the longer we go sideways, the more violent it's going to be. That takes effort. And then what if they just wipe out all those tickets? You're like, so I just moved all those targets for nothing? Pretty much. And this is another thing that people don't want to face, is that there's so many fuck up. But they're mini fuck ups, because if you trade small per ticket, and maybe you're trading 10K a ticket or 5K, 10K seems logical, because if you go from 1K to 10K, at least you can do the math, right? And of course, at that point, you're really going to be picky about the stop, because now you're talking about money, and now you're going to worry about the spread because you trade that big per ticket. But just going to a 2K, from a 1K to a 2K is pretty heavy, because now you've made the execution faster, because now you can get out of 2K in the same amount of time it took you to get out of 1K. And if you want less tickets on the screen, sure, I would do it, but it just seems to me that as long as my broker lets me trade 1Ks, I can drop a 3K in a 3-pip window and maybe fill a 2K. And now I've kind of cut my risk, and I've created a higher probability that, well, out of these 3 tickets, 2 of them profitable, and I can also move the targets on those. So when I see that, this is, and I'm so vacillating between a swing trader and a scalper is a dilemma, but not if you've got scalps that you have the discipline, I suppose, not to change your scalps, let your 40K come off the table in the blink of an eye, and then still retaining 200K of the swing trade, because the market's gonna spike into these prices, Or you see the market tanking, you go, oh, let's get out in front of this, right? Let's tell them that, yeah, well, god damn it, we didn't even know the border was open. Son of a bitch. Did you see is anybody? Oh, geez. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, there was? Oh, yeah? Oh, no. I can't believe it. See, Joe Biden can always say, come on, man, I'm old as fuck. You got to give me a break. That's what Obamacare was about. Give me a fucking break. I have a pre-existing condition. I'm a fucking complete Marxist cunt fuck tool puppet. Give me a break. Come on, man. So they say you can't say come on, man. I just searched for come on, man. It's a SWAT team hit my door. But certainly this is right buying material. But if I told somebody I'm putting a buy limit on gold, they're like, yeah, right, you and my brother. He's doing too. But lo and behold, one day, they just decertified the election. So, that could happen. And I do wonder, are the markets going to come unwrapped when they go, yeah, I think that's a 38% approval rate. Where's all those 80 million people again? They're all in their basement, man. They want to be the next president. Are you kidding? Look, don't be stupid. Well, it's definitely the time's ticking, because I got 2 months left in the year, and the Christmas will extend the debt ceiling right until January, and of course, it'd be the 21-year anniversary. This is the Fibonacci anniversary of the NASDAQ crashing, or totally unraveling, right? It was supposed to be the end of computers. Remember, computers were going to lock because, well, nobody ever thought about it being the year 2000, so the math, nobody did the fucking math on the fucking BIOS, so they're like, well, and everybody shit their pants, and it was the end. I'll never forget. It was watching the New Year's Eve thing, and here comes Merrill Lynch with this big giant bull. It was like metal, with metal balls, and it said, we're Merrill Lynch, and we're bullish on the future. And I turned to my girlfriend at the time, my psycho babe wife-to-be, and I said, are you in the stock market? We should get out. Like, you should get out of anything you're in. Like, when a brokerage firm comes out and says they're bullish, wow. And, of course, look at the market. But at that time, coca and gold were trading like dirt cheap. Gold was $280 an ounce. It was crazy. $280 an ounce. 300 people were like, oh, yeah. $1,700 down, man. I mean, if you're holding gold from under 1,000, you're like, yeah, that's a good investment. Sure. A rainy day fund, you know. Of course, if there's really blood in the streets, I don't know what they're going to give you for your gold, because really you're going to want to have a gun, right? A gun's going to be worth more than gold as well. Save a bullet for yourself. And once all the zombies that have been programmed by fear, and of course, it looks like the Brits are fucking waking up. They're like, yeah, you know what? We're just going to throw the kids together, let them get fucking COVID. No shit, Sherlock. That's the home of Sherlock, right? Okay, it's almost the bewitching hour here, 7:30. We're waiting for the big NFP numbers tomorrow, and holy shit. So, we're either going to rally, we're either going to drift into that number, or drift down into the news. They're coming out in 12 hours. What, 13 hours till news? That Fibonacci time. Anybody ever mess with the Fibonacci time series shit? I sat there one day and thought, maybe there's something to this. And I even tried to curve fit it, you know, I even tried to fucking cherry pick it. I could not get it to fucking work. Fibonacci time zones. That has to be the dumbest shit in the world. So, you know, some people swear by it. It just gives them an excuse to put on a trade, honestly. A lot of these things do. Look at the dollar monthly. All the pissing and moaning and the people crying about the dollar. Look at the dollar went berserk. The dollar is so strong as far as the dollar index goes that everything you hear about, like, look at this top become a bottom here. I mean, wow, you know, the dollar looks like it's in good fucking shape, especially when the interest rates go up, right? In 2014, so this thing really takes off here. Yeah, what now? What the hell is the cause of that? So I don't know what's going on here, but is this, so maybe somebody knows that one. I don't really look at the dollar index because if I'm trading the euro dollar, it's a cross rate between the euro and the dollar, and it just wouldn't even. But maybe this is where all the currencies do tank based on this. So here's the bearish argument, is that you're hitting this right there. That's going to be a huge blockade. But what's your time horizon? How far out in space are you thinking about holding these positions? Let me zoom out one level. Yeah, so this is when the Canadian dollar. So I was trading the Canadian dollar back then, and my buddy was really into it because it heavy ranging. And right here it was cheaper than the American dollar. It's crazy. The old 2008 crash. Man, look how that thing recovered. So even if they print more money than Jesus, it's just not going to matter. Because nature finds a way. It's just, market just could go like tread water like this forever. Forever, but people want to make predictions, though. That's a pastime, sells newsletters. This guppy's a train wreck. Look at this. It's just a fucking mess. This is another crazy. Look at this thing pull back 100 pips off the top of that. Once it fills that vacuum, it just comes screaming back. All the way back to the starting gate. What else is there? We got the dollar Swiss. It's just kind of choppy all over the map. No rhyme, no reason. British pound. Wow, just, you know, when you look at these weekly charts, you're like, this thing's just not going anywhere. So even No Nonsense won't look at the weeklies because to him it's too. See, if you run your indicators on a weekly, you ain't gonna get a trade. So that's why he runs them on a daily. So I think most of his stuff runs a daily. Look at this currency. Incredible. British pound, what a mess, huh? So I guess this was the big deep discount when it came down here. People got in front of that puppy. Everyone's a winner. So yeah, we're just gonna have to wait it out till tomorrow. We got the big news coming out. Anyways, that's the long and short of it, as they say. Got the euro dollar 4-hour chart down in a deep discount window. In a 100 pip deep discount window, one even lower. So wait, trying to break this trend line here. This is the big monster resistance. So anything below here I'm in. Anything below there I'm in. And of course, ricocheted off the top of that. And then I bought way more. I just bought so much. And I put limits in today and bought more on that drift back. So on the 4-hour chart, loaded for bear on this fucking heavily hog long on the 4-hour. So I'm just looking at the daily inverted hammer. Pretty rare. Look at that. I mean, just, God, you don't usually get a day like that. That narrow of a range? That's crazy. So it's not to say we can't take out the low, but if we take out yesterday's high, Katie, bar the door. Okay, just get the fucking Katie out here, bar the door, because I perceive this trend line or this pressure, upward pressure here, is about to break. So here's even on the highs, of course, the trend line, we're going to break this first. So right up against it on the dailies. And then if we start, so we could take out yesterday's high. By tomorrow, we could be above here. So I'm trying to make, what was this, 40 pips. Because I figured there'll be sellers galore up in this box up in here. That's going to be the huge seller window. And as soon as it smashes up there, if it does make it to here, then I just throw buy limits in beneath for next week. Because even if I ride the thing, it's going to have another trade coming. So I figure, well, that's just around the corner. So even if you bought below here and you cashed out, I'd probably just throw buy limits in again. Now here, why you'd have to be so careful buying anything below here, because if you take this out, right, smashed like that is, but in one, if you wait to the end of the day to buy, because you're down 80 pips in one day. Where else on this chart are you down 80 pips in one day? So here's like you're down 80 pips in one day. You buy here with an 80 pip stop or something, right? 100 pip stop probably. Here it's not down that much, so you buy with a tighter stop. So the stop for this entry is here. This is based on big move down. So big move down, buy with a wide stop. Buy again with a tight stop. Don't buy it if it's going up. Start getting out. So you only made, unless you got out here, you only made that much for risking quite a bit, right? So, but like if it's heavy up, it's really up, sell. Okay, well, you're gonna get, as soon as if they take this out, so here's the looming vacuum. You got to be careful because you can't just sell blindly up. Now here, if you sold and you sold and you sold and you didn't sell anymore, you cash out, and even this one's a winner, right? And I guess this one's a winner if you could survive. You could claim, oh, well, see, I put a stop up here for this. Well, that wasn't I don't think so, because even if you double this move, if you sell here, you probably got to sell them in here. So that one got taken out. That's why you couldn't risk. You can't build this Holy Grail, because if you just even back testing this right here, just talking about these simple trades with X amount of, you can see that even though it's logical, right? It's big down, down, buy, yeah, buy, right? But it's really coming into this hole. And that's the fuel for these giant retracements and engulfments, is that it's going to come back to that. You zoom out, you can see all the story, or the story of prices. I gotta take a look at that. But so if you're just buying new lows and dumping, every time it comes down, it sweeps and then dump, sweep. So you're range trading it, even though you're just kind of buying and dumping in a range, even though it's going down. You're making money from a drifting down market if you're getting in front of it by X amount of pips every day or every week. So when you take out the low of this month here, if you have pendings here, you start to fill those pendings just by sheer default of taking out this low. And you almost get an attempt, market almost attempts to, once it fills here, to engulf and take out this, but that's not in the cards, you know. You at least you scalped to here and you made this 40 pips, and yeah, if you held out of that, then you really cleaned up. So this lonely wick here, once they get above that, yeah, the sellers come in. Of course, if you can handle it and you're selling every day it's up and you're getting filled on limits, gridded out, where you're actually selling 10Ks up here, and here you're selling 1Ks. But if you held this 1K until it come down here, you know, you can claim, look at that. With the money management based around all these different sizings, you know, that's what really is the trick, is to get all that stuff to. But right now it's a buy. So it was a buy here, and I dumped, and then I bought into this, and I bought a lot once it got below there. So that was, just had to have extra tickets ready to go, because you don't want to miss, you know, if you're looking to ride this obvious, even here when you take out this wick, you know, the sellers are all over that. And I would just look at this as confirmation. As soon as I see it taking this out, I'm already thinking I should start thinking about cashing out. I certainly have to almost be forced into cashing out once it gets below this thing here. To me, is to be the threshold. Is anything below here is like, wow, you know, we gotta really think about getting out there. Yes, I can't see the singular genius bot that's able to capture all the zigzags perfectly. It's great. It's a dream. And Ryan Brown has this his money management base, I think, to so he gets these baskets he buys. He's kind of doing what I'm doing, but he has an indicator that's saying do this, do that. And I don't know how, you know, well this robot performs, and so I don't really, you know, you can backtest his robot and look at that, made money. I haven't looked at him lately, but you know, these things, there was a guy he interviewed who was running one of his robots, and the guy admitted that he had to intervene on top of the robot. And I guess that's the thing that might be the bonus, is that it's like having a trading assistant, and you go, no, that's stupid trade. Let me show you how to trade. So maybe it's a great, you know, like punching bag kind of thing, like, you stupid robot, let me show you how to trade. Maybe that's the bonus in it. But he had to rescue the robot, so well, that's cool. But I just don't think you can just leave it in the hands of a robot, as a lot of these people do. Let this learning bot do it. Dude, this thing's a piece of shit. I mean, if the people, you just can't trust that stuff. What's he going to build, the next vaccine? Well, we've got a robot building boosters in the back room. You don't trust that? I don't know. Geez, Saw some smoke coming out of the back of the robot's head. Like he was crunching the numbers on the election, and he fucking blew up his fucking frontal lobe, his fake frontal lobe, his circuit board. Well, look at you now. Gotta wear these special glasses to see the fucking market properly. That's another thing. ICT's got these glasses he came out with. If you put them on, it's like fucking A, man. You can see all the order blocks that jump out at you like fucking like a zombie movie. All right, so look at this crude oil. Jesus. Now, this is a sell for short term, in my opinion. I think natural gas went through I heard natural gas was going nuts, and I haven't looked at the chart since that guy asked me on the stream, but I had to go to barchart.com for that because I don't have it in my broker. I thought I had a broker that had it. One of these brokers that has like 128 symbols. Instruments. They call them instruments, you know. Okay, the euro's starting to leave the station. It is now 7:45, and the gate is closing on the week. They're going to close the books out. Everybody's freaking out in this fucking Bitcoin. So this is not where I would buy Bitcoin. At 53,000, I'm not getting in. Even if it goes to $1 zillion from here, I can't handle the drawdown psychologically. I'd kill myself. I can't handle a 12-hour. It's bad enough I'm in a 12-hour drawdown right now. So I'm not into it. Anyways, I gotta go have some entertainment food. I'm eating this papaya, this dried papaya chunks. I hope it doesn't destroy my spine. Somebody said years ago it eats your spine. So maybe I'll be like limp. But it's just, I'm addicted to eating this stuff. Gotta fatten up for winter. So here comes the euro dollar screaming coming out of the gate here on this, the babiest candle I've ever seen on a Thursday. Don't forget, this is the fucking news here. This jobs report. That's how much, nobody gives a shit. That's how little shit is given. So we're queuing it up here for I would say like the beginning of the giant engulfment. This would be wave 0 down here on the euro. Alrighty then.